All right, truth seekers. Let's do an audio check. If you're in the audience right now, any of the moderators or anyone, let me know if you can hear me. Okay, Courtney, give them an audio check.
Hi, friends. Here, I'm so happy to be with you, Roderick.
All right, so y'all give us a quick audio check, right quick, please, and see if we can see where we are with. All right, we got a thumbs up. Good audio is good. All right, so anyway, y'all, my sister is here with me, Courtney. And as y'all know, she's going to be here in Dallas on Valentine's Day. We'll talk more about that in the show. Make sure you guys hang around for that. You know, I'm here at the Dallas office once again, and I think we got a better connection this time than we did the last show. But we're going to talk about some of these bipedal dolphin races and stuff that's in the ocean. And just to set the tone for some of you to know that, you know, there are some government restrictions about communicating with dolphins today for odd reason. And so I think we're going to be finding that out here pretty much in a show. But anyway, Courtney, how you been?
Fred, first of all, I'm so happy to be with you. I saw some of my old friends, guys, in the comments earlier. And so I'm just so happy to be with you. Dr. Strange, I saw you, so I'm giving you a shout out. I see Melanie or Melina, I can't even say it. Brown, I see you too, my friend. So anyway, I'm just so happy to be with you, like always. Truly family for sure. And I'm just excited to be also in Dallas in February. And so any of you guys need to come see us. I can't wait.
Yeah, and we'll give them a little more detail about that. I think a lot of people, King Simon will be here. And anyway, I'm almost ready to talk about it, but let's move on a little. We'll come back to that so that people can kind of get there. But first of all, what do you think about years ago that there was some type of dolphin humanoid walking this planet? Just what do you think about it? Period.
Well, first of all, let me say this. When you told me that this was tonight's discussion, I was like, okay, wait just a second. And when you gave me the name, I was like, I haven't really looked into the name, what you called it earlier. Tell me the name again.
Well, there's two types. There's the Innu and then there's the bipedal, but they are considered whale gods, is what people talk about. And you know what? Let me set the tone first, so people
Well,
will know. I got my
let me
notes. But yeah,
I do want to say that when I kind of started to look into it, and then I thought, well, wait just a second. No, I know all about this stuff. It's something that I've been curious about since I was a little girl. And I just want to say that I am somebody who has been always very interested in space, UFOs, all of that. But can I tell you that one of my greatest fears, and I've talked about this on my podcast before, but is the deep, dark ocean. And I've had such a fascination
mm.
with the Bermuda Triangle and Atlantis and all of that. So there's so much information here that's been covered up. So anyway, I can't wait to dive into it.
Well, yeah, and if people really think about it, Courtney, even in our sigil, it's the water symbol, but also fish. A lot of people don't know that, but it's really for us to access what I call the hidden information. If you think about 100 years ago, where all the aliens and people would go hide in the ocean, there was one place human couldn't go without some type of apparatus. We didn't have those, right? So they can hide. We're not walking in water. But when you start going back to a little bit, so I'll set the tone here with my notes here. Long before Earth was seeded, there was a civilization bloomed in they call Sirius B. And it wasn't made of land, city, and walls. It was made of sound. So anyway, these beings of these worlds was aquatic, but they wasn't fish. They wasn't mammals. They wasn't animals. They were what they call hydro energetic conscious constructs. And these entities who are involved to communicate, store, and transmit information through what they call water-based sonic lattice. Now, they weren't born; they were harmonically formed, is what they said back in the day. They migrated interdimensionally to the Epsilon quadrant near Arcturus, and they created a new beacon world built on joy and resonance. And the new civilization birthed what we call the bipedal dolphin people today. Now, they had no limbs, no fins. In fact, I think I have a picture of them. Put it up here and kind of, yeah, I think it would. Yeah. And- Or it'll be this one, bipedal dolphin people. So they had no limbs, no fins. They walked in liquid gravity. Call it. They laughed, they sang, and they heal through waveform. And of course, above all, they remember. And so I think this is really important for a lot of people to really understand. Now, really, people to kind of contrast everything. These dolphin people carried what they considered 12 to 24 strands of DNA matrix. Okay. 12 base strands, which is what we call physical experience and sensory expansion. Now, the other 12 additional harmonic strands, emotional attunement, humor, sonic modulation, empathy, and collective hearing. This is really important when we start thinking about who we are, and the fact that, once again, there's a lot of people that may have some bloodline DNA from, could be some frog people, bird people, um, dolphin people, whale people. Even when you think about the movie Courtney and Avatar or Avatar,
Mm,
2, there was a scene that they was talking to the whales, right?
right.
And the whales kind of knew, and they was kind of symbolic to the movie. And I think these movies tell us a lot already. So, but what would you think though if you look back past the ancestral talk or our ancestors, all the way
Mm.
back to, there were some things walking around here that was not, that didn't look like us, but whoever created it, it's almost like over time, I would call us a more perfected side of it, but
It's I think what interests me and what is fascinating is the telepathic connection, the way that they
hmm
communicate. Because to me, in my mind, even in, I connect to clients on an energetic level. And very often I say to my clients that I wish I could just put a microphone to my head when I'm in
mm,
sessions with others, because there's so much more information that can come through when you are simply in that connected space and you're feeling and you're communicating on a spiritual level, let's say to our guides and angels or loved ones on the other side. But that telepathic way is the exact way that these beings, whether you're talking about the frog people or the bird people or the all of the other different
right.
species, um, and it was a telepathic connection, which I think that that's also what the government's been really working on testing out for so many years, or they were at one point. I don't know if they've halted experiments with them at this point. I think that they did a long, long time ago, but I think that's also why there's so many different, um, you know, aren't there laws? Like, would you call them laws of communicating with dolphins or even playing with them, or like they're definitely a protected species, and I believe it's because of that telepathic connection. I saw somebody earlier even in the comments saying that they swam with the dolphins and all of that, but that's a very you know organized, structured type way of having time and space with them. um anyway, it's very fascinating because I do believe that there's so much information that we can gain with the dolphins, but the government knows so much that they really are trying to keep this protected. So this kind of information that you're sharing tonight isn't really out for the masses.
Well, yeah, I think you're correct. I wouldn't say, and we already know everything is inverted, right?
Mhm.
And so when we want to use the word protected, that's just their way of hiding something, right?
Right.
And so I do believe at any given point that they are hiding. We're just moving this monitor. We're good. All right. So one of the things that when you think about it, again, protective, it is because once again, they don't want us communicating. And let me give you all a backstory. The dolphin people, once again, carry 12 to 24 strand DNA. And I know, okay, well, Roderick, what is that? Glad you asked. Again, the 12 base strands. And we have, I think, what, 12 DNA or whatever. The whole point is they have disconnected us from our DNA for a
Mm.
reason. But anyway, their uniqueness isn't quantity. It is, when we're talking about the DNA strand, is the quality of the dolphin. Their DNA operates like a biosonic instrument. So NASA, not NASA, but Navy, all of them, they've used dolphins for quite some time for all of these experiments and what they're doing. Every cell in a dolphin body is tuned. Every breath is like a waveform. Every gesture is like a ripple that they have in what I would consider the field, right? And so their main mode of communication is not speech. It's
Mm.
hydrosonic streaming, which is broadcasting thought through the water, carry emotion coded information across planetary distance. And that was the problem. These dolphins could communicate way across the other side of the planet just through the ocean, and the ocean carried it. And they knew this. And they was like, wait a minute, but imagine the intelligence of that dolphin. And what if it reactivated a DNA within us humans that we were able to hear the story? That's what.
Somebody was just said, Victorious said, I forgot what country it was, but there was a country that was doing birth in the water with the dolphins until they banned it. This is so 100% true. And what's really interesting is I just saw this not too long ago, that they were actually saying that the reason they stopped doing this, and this was just a little brief little nugget of information. So anybody tell me if I'm going off into something that is, maybe there's only part truths to it. But what I was reading was that the reason they separated was because they were helping the infants like understand their true vibrational frequency and energy, and they would remember their like their purpose. They would remember their true DNA when they came into their physical body and physical form, which is why they separated that. The dolphins helped us remember. You just said it, Roderick. They helped us remember our true DNA, our power, what we're made of, and all of those gifts and abilities that we have. They do want to keep our world separate, this aquatic world, and those of us on land, and it's so that
Yeah.
they keep us feeling inferior, disconnected from that frequency and that vibration. And Roderick, in the way that you just said that, like, the waves of that communication, when a dolphin, what they were finding out in these scientific experiences was that the dolphins would come and connect with other people, but then in these other worlds, these other countries, and then take that information back, and they'd be learning, they would be sending this energy through that aquatic, call it frequency or
Right, right,
vibration of the
right.
water. And so it was an instantaneous kind of all-knowing. Everybody was connected within that energetic space. Now here, those of us, we're not in the water, we're in this, other space, whatever you want to call it. We're on land, and it doesn't quite travel, or we're separated from knowing that that energy can travel like that. And so they keep us far from those dolphins so we don't regain our true power. That's the way it feels to me.
Well, one of the things that I have here in notes is that dolphin frequency is what they call a joy. It's a waveform, and here's the specific information that form destroys trauma frequency, and that's why the dolphin people were attacked, a long time ago. So they don't want. Remember, this whole world, from the reptilian side, everything is designed for trauma, right? It's designed for us to because they feed off that loosh. And if that frequency,
Mhm.
which we already know sound healing exists, then if the dolphins are able to do it, and there's been known that a dolphin screech or frequency can be loud enough to burst, right? And so you can imagine the power behind it. But yeah, they do not want. So imagine you come walking up to a dolphin and it senses. I've had people that have gone to these resorts,
Mm.
and some people would get into the water, how they swim with the dolphins, and the dolphin would already sense the person that was sick. They will know. They will come up and they will move different, or they would do. And you hear stories like this all the time, and you can like Google them on the internet. And stuff. So there is a huge phenomenon the reason I think we should talk about it, and there's two different species, we'll get into the other one now, is that once again, those same DNA strain that the dolphins have, we got it.
Mm,
But they're spent a lot of times tuning us out from it. And so those are things that are very important. And so let me tie into a little bit why I consider the joy became illegal. So let me cover
mhm,
that a little bit. So I want everybody to understand that the Anunnaki, draconian factions didn't just hate the dolphin; they really feared them. So I'm taking you back to a time when there was a war between these species, and they feared them because the joy neutralizes trauma-based control. And you remember the whole system, like I said just seconds ago, is designed for trauma-based. So where the Anunnaki rule now, I just threw some people for a loop when I said the Anunnaki and Draconian. I don't think a lot of people know that they work together. There was a
mm,
reptilian side of the Anunnaki, and they're still here. There is another uh, bloodline and DNA of Anunnaki who's on their way back, who didn't like what was left behind and what they did. So there's two sides. So y'all can research that. But anyway, where the Anunnaki ruled through hierarchy and domination, the dolphin people dismantled those systems back in the day through frequency mirroring. And they didn't fight, they just laughed. It was like, this is why when you start thinking about any of the companies, anything that if somebody said, well, there's we always I used to be in network marketing. We would say there's four types of people. There was whales. These are people that like helping people. So you can identify that when in conversation. There were sharks, and we would know those are people who just want to come in and make money. And there was urchin. Those would be the people in the audit, out there be I always want to read everything, do their research. They don't join. They'll be like, okay, let me go home and research for 15 days for paragraphs. Okay. But then there was the dolphin. Those was the symbolic of people just like to have fun because they jump in and out of the water. But it was joy.
mm,
And that was the whole key. And so we still put that into place. So real quickly, so the enemies, they use sonic inversion fields. They use bioengineered trauma viruses, which we have today, and propaganda injected into what we call the collective fields. And so they turn what we consider spontaneous play into what we call immaturity, right? They turn laughter into disrespect. They weaponize shame. And I say this because, Courtney, even today, I always talk about love and
mm.
having fun, and it's important even in your relationships. There's a kid in every king or queen, right? But people forget that, and
Mm.
we're now so much trained to forget the joy in life, which that DNA exists. That it's just everybody's just so freaking serious. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes. Well, think about the dolphins when you see them in their full atmosphere, and, I've
Hmm.
been in Hawaii and been on, a boat and seen them in Maui or whatever, and just seen them jump and play, and they are
Yep.
childlike in the way that you express that, and it is something that, the world as we live in it, they do want to keep us out of that joy as another way to confine us or to keep us forgetting our true, call it that, the DNA frequency of connection that we have. And it's something that is a premeditated thing, of course. Like they do weaponize that, if you will. Um, it's really interesting. We're having this conversation tonight. I went and found a bracelet of mine. Before this, it's actually in the other room, so I wish I grabbed it and had it right here with me. But it is a silver bracelet I had picked up in Rocky Point, Mexico, many years, probably 15, 16 years ago, maybe 17. It's been a long time. And then, oh, here it is right here. And so it's got a little dolphin on it. And I grabbed it because this was such a spiritual moment that I had in Rocky Point with a friend. Somebody was getting married, and I
Mm.
was in such a terrible place in my previous marriage at this point. And I was walking out by the ocean, putting my feet in the ocean,
Mhm.
and walked out there, and there was this dolphin like that kept trying to beach itself. And so my friend and I was like yelled up to her, and she came down, and we tried for like 2 or 3 days to help this dolphin. We held this dolphin in our arms, and
Mm,
it was the most beautiful experience. I mean, we sat there, held this animal and cried, and was like, praying over it, or just trying to sit there and hold space for it, thinking we could save the dolphin. And we kept kind of sending it back on its way, but every day it would come back. And clearly something was wrong with the dolphin. But the spiritual impact that it left upon me was, I knew that I couldn't save. And in this moment, it was my ex-husband. I couldn't save him. And in the moment, as we're even talking about it right now, the lesson I learned was, we can't save a person. And so I think that when we have these close encounters with, specifically dolphins,
mhm.
there is usually a spiritual component to it too. And you will understand and know it. And even I just remember touching the skin. It was just such an intimate moment, thinking first of all that we could save it, and then realizing, oh wait, we couldn't. And this was, essentially a god. It was its life plan, whatever. But it
Right.
was such as something that moved me, that, I mean, I never wear this, but I'm going to go clean it up now, and I might have to throw it back on my wrist as a reminder, is that, our own frequency and energy is one that we really must look after ourselves before we're looking out after everybody else. We're all one, but just by taking great care of ourselves, we're really helping the world around us. And I think, isn't that the way it is with those higher beings? Them understanding and learning that vibration goes out to it all. So in a way, as they grow, heal, and help others, whether that be telepathically or whatever, they're really helping the collective. And that's something that we've all forgotten here on land.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Mm,
And that leads me into this story here. Uh, it was called the Laughing Redeemer, or whatever, Redemer. This was the most famous being among the dolphins, which is the name. Maybe y'all know I got my grammar box up there. Unlimited letters. Go in there and get it out. But anyway, it was, yeah, Redemer. Anyway, the famous dolphin, or the famous being among the dolphins, and it's not a name, it's a title. So DOL actually mean gateway, and the
mm,
fin and FIN means sonic harmonic. Okay. So dolphin was a Syrian master who initiated what they call the joy frequency rebellion. So it's really important for people to kind of know that. And even on a personal note, as we're going to segue in a minute and coming down here on Valentine's Day, one of the greatest things that, and I was talking to Judith the other day, our friend Judith, and she said, "Oh, Roderick, one of the things we all said we like about you is that little kid." Like, oh yeah, I'm a big kid. So, but the other part is you have to find the joy, even in all this murky water of life that we. Um, and the only statement I learned over time was, "It's a small man," you know,
mm,
just laugh at. Um, but real quickly, this joy frequency rebellion, he didn't wage war. He was against war. He walked into the draconian broadcast towers and unleashed what they call a sonic joy bomb that short circuit their programming. So this is why it became a problem. So picture the reptilians, even where we are now in this frequency that we are receiving, because there is this thing happening right now in real time. And this frequency is given out, in fact, just to even take it to another level. We just had this little incursion in Venezuela. What are they reporting? They are
mm.
reporting that there was a frequency weapon that was used on them, right? So we already know, if this the power to use as a weapon, imagine us to free ourselves, right? So anyway, and y'all can look that up. So he would emit what they call a harmonic laughter, and the entire battalions would just lay down their weapons, not by force, but by remembering. So it's like,
Mm,
this huge whatever. Now the dolphin was encoded into Atlantean memory. So really what we're talking about, y'all, is that it's all about remembrance. At first, I was on this thing of truth seeker. Then, for a short while, a few months ago, truth speakers. The mission is we need to remember
Mhm.
everything. We got to go into remembrance, right? So they also saying that the Atlantean memory as a blue being with a spiral voice. So let me put a picture back up as I finish. Tell y'all. And so we're still talking about these bipedal. There's another one species we'll talk about in the second half of the show. But anyway, the dolphin, the enemies retaliated by distorting his legacy into what they call cartoon dolphin, circus acts, and childish mascots. Because if they mock it, you won't remember it. So
Mm.
basically, it's hard for us as humans to remember these dolphins the way they should be in our DNA and our memory, because just as we said, we see them jumping in and out of the water. That's all we know. Uh, but as soon as we get our DNA uh, reconnected, which is supposedly the indigo children are here to do that new thing,
Mhm.
then we will remember it. I think that's what. Oh, and speaking of that, let me put this up real quickly. Come February the 14th, Valentine's Day, y'all. Right as you see, Project Black is for initiating the Black Lexicon of ancient cosmic knowledge. But we're gonna bring my sister down here, Courtney Kane's sides there, Brinkley. We gotta add a new Courtney Kane, Brinkley's.
That's
Anyway, huh?
I said, "That's right. That's right."
Yeah, that's right. So she is CKCB. Got a long name. So but anyway, King Simon is going to be here as well. He's numerology. So how do we tie? And you go right now, the early bird tickets is on sale. Early bird, and this is limited space. This is Valentine's Day. We're talking love frequency. We're talking about frequency right there in interdimensional connections. We're not just loving and finding people, but the whole thing and everything else. But the tickets is on sale right now. But as you know, the month before this, Billy is going to be here in 2 weeks. We're doing it the Project Black. We have Greta Chamberlain is going to be here with us. I'll have her on a podcast in the next day or two. Judith is our crystal custodian. Is going to be on a panel. Leanda is going to be on a panel. You guys don't want to miss any one of these. But anyway, Courtney is going to be here this day. All right. So real quickly, not real. We can take our time, but where would this psychic world come into Love Connect February?
Oh, wait just a second. You sputtered out for a moment on that microphone. You said, "Where does the psychic connection come in with this love?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we're all intuitive beings and we are all wanting to connect to the world around us from that space of love. And if we're talking about romantic love, listen, my friend, we were just talking about telepathy with
All right.
dolphins and all of those things. Let's talk about telepathy with your partner or being
Mm,
able to understand true connection with your lover, your person. It's a really beautiful thing, but also how that even leads into wanting the other to heal so that we can find that psychic connection even
mm,
um, deeper. You know what? When we're not afraid to have the real conversations, when we're not, and I mean, um, past hurts and things that we've been through in our all listen, we're all older. We've all had tons of or a few relationships in our day, but to be able to heal through those things and get it and learn it and be able to do it right this time around, right? Or in the relationship that you're in right now, that bond that you're healing within yourself and then therefore healing, helping and encouraging your partner to kind of move through their own awareness and connection, it's going to bring your own frequency of love so much stronger with
okay.
your person, with your romantic partner. Joseph said, "Is a soul tie a psychic connection?" Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is, and it can be for sure. it's all psychic, really energy. It's a frequency, and we've all got it. But I think that when we're really tuned in to ourself and we give ourselves space to find that connection within, we're a better partner for the person that's standing next to us, or that we're
Gotcha.
even that we're even wanting to manifest to come back into our
Yeah.
life or to come into our life. So this, I'm so excited to dive in. We're going to dive into all things love, whether your partner is with you right now, or it's somebody that you're really wanting to manifest, into your life.
Well, I think that a lot of people, like you said, miss the word I'm looking for, underestimate the power of that frequency. They just think, all right, this is my dude, this is my gal, I'm down with the person with like 4 flat tires. Well, air them up. You know what I'm saying? And speak it. Or like you said, put that vibration where everybody can feel it, right? I mean, I'm sure, Ethan walks in the room and you just light up, right? You're like, hey,
Mhm.
yeah. And it's one of those things. And I put it out there all the time. I tell people that it is, you know, that communication that it's almost, what's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like hell, two people that are on that same, they can just feel each other, from afar,
Oh,
you know?
yeah, it really is, but it's also something that we do have to continue. This is the big thing, guys, is everybody does have to continue to work towards the the kind of connected focus together. And so we all in relationships in life will have things that will trigger us or will look like something of the past. And why sometimes these things will reoccur is so that we learn to communicate them in a different way than say we did before, so that we can grow stronger within the relationship, right? And so being able to see it and not find those things as triggers, but let's say lessons to be able to communicate to a different level. My friend here said, have to be careful of trauma bonding. 100%. We should all be very careful about that, of course. And Joseph says, does working on yourself bring soulmates or more healed people? I would say yes. Now, you will find that you'll get people that look like the people that you've healed from. And so that is also why discernment's really a beautiful, beautiful thing to not repeat our patterns. Because sometimes, very often we'll have moments where we get to repeat patterns or say, thank you so much, but I know this, I understand this, I've been through this, and I'm going to choose something different, choose something better suited for me. I want to say this too, that just because and Roderick brought up uh, Ethan, my I get to say husband now, my
Yeah,
husband.
you was. They were shacking for a while. So they husbands.
That's
Yeah.
right. We were shacking up for a little bit,
Mm.
but so my husband. What I will say
Husband,
is
my husband. Yeah.
my husband. I am not his psychic medium. I am not
Oh,
his.
that's a great point to get into in just a second. But go ahead. Yeah.
And we'll be talking about it on, and that's the thing is, I'm his wife. I'm his best friend. I'm his
Yeah.
lover. He's all, I'm those things to him. And of course we heal together, but I and he listens. Let me tell you this. If I say, well, this is how it feels to me, that doesn't mean that that's the way it has to be because my business card says psychic medium,
Right. Right.
whatever.
Right.
It means we still work through these things. But for me
Well,
to
but at least when he's done and he says, "How did I do, baby?" You say, "I knew you was going to do a good job."
there was something, last night. This is so ridiculous and so ridiculous. But we went out, listen, we ate like ridiculous this weekend. And so we had like crab legs on
Oh man, I can't wait
Saturday.
to eat some of that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was the best I've ever had. Anyway, so we did that. You'll have to come down and we'll take you to our new favorite restaurant. So we did that, and then Saturday morning we went and had chicken and waffles, and which was so good. And then we came home last night. We were like, we're stuffed. We're not eating anymore. No more. And then he said, I'm hungry, and I looked at him, and I immediately heard pizza in my head. And he said, I'm thinking pizza, and I said, I knew you were going to say that. So
Ah.
in those moments, yeah, I can be psychic. Just kidding. But It is really, really funny. It is really funny. I think for us, when we are intuitive, when we really own our level of discernment and connection, it is important to not
You owe me
um
a steak.
yeah, he does owe you a steak. It's important for us to, as the intuitive, as the psychic, as the person who is connected with their true gifts and abilities, to not run our partner over. I believe
Yeah.
that that's really important, and so that's just a tip, just a little tip. And so, anyway,
You know, there was someone asking, can they do a private session?
of course, let me put my
Uh,
link up
put your
there.
link in it. Yeah, put the link
Yeah.
there. And we're gonna finish talking about the Dolphins a little bit here too, y'all, and we'll still double back since it's all kind of fine. But what can we do as a group that they can expect when you
Oh,
come on February?
okay, so some of my favorite things to do when in these group experiences is there's typically a theme. Now, of course, the theme's going to be love. So I expect that it's going to be have so many loving properties coming through. But what is really beautiful is there's a collective message for the entire group. And,
That's all of
and
us, right?
it's all of us. It's all of us. And
Okay.
there's even listen, guys, I even learn from these groups and these experiences. And when even, we're going to select people randomly to have a session and
Oh,
a
don't
little more.
select me this time. Don't select me.
Yeah, well, you've had a handful, haven't you? And so we, we'll do that. And even
We'll do
when we
TK right there.
oh, is
TK is she's right here. We're gonna pick her and
hi, friend.
got a
We'll
couple.
pick her. We'll pick her. And but what's cool is every person. So I always say I feel so much that I feel in color. So I finger paint while I'm connecting, and signs and symbols from your loved ones might come through your guides and angels, or representative of whatever the information that is coming through in your session. But that information or that session typically leads into so many other people that are present for that message. So the message that comes through is of course 100% for the person sitting for the session, but there's also a collective message for the entire room. And that is what I find so beautiful in these groups.
Yeah, I think it's we're gonna put this on the screen.
Sure.
But yeah,
Mm.
I think that people just don't understand the power of the collective. Okay? We already know those people before us, and I'm not gonna call them ancestors because I'm on the exploration of DNA now. I don't know who's who. All I
Right.
know, I'm part something.
Yeah.
We're gonna find it. Could be a part Pegasus or something. They just done did some numbers. But the other part of that, we know that they move stuff with their minds. So imagine in a group, everybody just thinking about love and how powerful that could be.
What a powerful frequency. And even the intention of, when you're purchasing the ticket, even I'm a firm believer in energy. And when we're saying yes to things that feel like a higher vibration, we typically have a higher vibrational frequency find us in life. That's just the
Hmm.
way I see it, the way I know it, it's the way I live it. And so I agree with you. I think that when you're in that collective space together, you're resonating at just a higher vibration. And of course, this will be of love, which is something that's quite beautiful. Yeah.
All right.
And healing too, by the way.
Well, I think healing is important. All right, let's go with this question, and we'll still tie it into some dolphins too. But he
Mhm.
says, "Do all humans have have capability to love, and is the definition of love different from one person to another?"
Can we have a round of applause for what a beautiful
Oh,
question that
well,
is?
hang on. I may
Yeah,
have some noise. Oh, can y'all hear that? Cause I can't. Y'all hear that clapping stuff?
I can't
Y'all
hear
hear
it.
it?
Nope, but I'll do it in the background.
Y'all didn't hear the clapping on my
I
end?
can't,
Okay, that's
no,
another tech.
you'll have to do
That's
it
another
next time.
list of technology stuff we have to do. All right, well, I'm
Okay.
gonna clap too.
Well, thanks.
Yay! I don't even know what
Yay!
the question.
Okay, so I believe that yes, we do, but in our own ways of love. Okay, let's all take a good deep
Mhm.
breath in, big exhale out. that's why those, I'm a lover. Mr. Brinkley will tell you that I always say I demand a house with no eggshells. Like we all have certain things that
Right, right, right,
um,
right.
it's gotta feel good. And I know that even in the way I view it, it is a childlike way. I think, Roderick, that's why you and I get along so well. That's why we are brother and sister, truly brother and sister. Is
That
it, it's true. And it's because um, I want it to feel like play. I want to enjoy the person when they walk in the door. There's got to be a certain elevation of that kind of frequency for me. And that is love to me. Now, the next person, that might just look completely different for them. And we all have different trials and tribulations that we move through in this lifetime. And that degree of trial and tribulation can be at a different, depth for some rather than another. And so I think that our capacity for the kind of love and the depth of love is 100% different. Now, can we move through and learn to rise and choose something different on this same path? I think 100%. 100%. I myself in my own life had so much loss or situations that my sisters, I was coined the, excuse my language, I'm just gonna the F off queen, if you know what I mean. And that was
no,
because
no, no. What do you mean? Don't leave it out there.
exactly. So I held everybody, I was like a brick wall. You could not get close to me. And that meant any romantic partner too. There was no way. I was a brick wall for many, many years. And it wasn't until probably my, I don't know, a long, long time to be able to heal through life and be able to tap back into my true tender heart. And really, all of us are just, our little child is within. And when we're truly connected to that little child, oh, I've got my favorite picture of myself. I'm actually going to grab it. It's actually behind me, right here. That's my twin sister right there. But that right there, when
Yeah,
I'm thinking
queen.
of
Okay.
Courtney, that's me, playful, silly. Um, that's love for me. And whenever we think about ourselves, um, when I'm healed and I'm fully present, um, I'm smiling, I'm free, I'm carefree. And I spent many, many years and still at certain moments not connected to her, but she matters. And so if we can find,
Yeah,
thank you, Lillian, thank you, picture. Um, this, when I think of my heart, I think of her.
yeah,
And if you can kind of find your own picture of yourself like that, and remind yourself when you're in a space that doesn't feel like love, um, looking out for that little one and reminding them how beautiful and wonderful and capable they are, that's a really beautiful place to start. So even when we're talking about loving partners or romantic partners or whatever, if we're not taking care of the little person within us first,
yeah.
we we're actually going about it the wrong way. We've got to do it for them and not for the other person. Our partner has to look out for their little person. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Anyway.
and like I said, and I do meet people who understand that periodically, right?
Mm,
Even myself, if anybody been around me, no, I'm going at it. We're gonna laugh about something. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Because I already know the joy is where it is. Even when I approached this UFO topic years ago, I would come in with humor. They was pissed off in the beginning, like, "Oh, it's so be serious. Why are you so serious?" I'm like, "No, no, no, no. Let's joy will counsel all of it over time."
Mm,
Not knowing after studying this dolphin stuff, right? But even now, as I pursue the love, that I'm creating for our community, it's still we're going to have some fun with it. We're going to do, but even now, as an adult, I still do crazy now. But make no mistake about it, there's a bear here, if necessary, or whatever it needs to be. But there is a kid in all of it. And if we
Mm,
forget that, like you said, and anybody who's around me, know me personally, like I said before, it exists all the time, 24/7, 12, 365 plus P. Um, but it's just something that over time I started going, wait a minute, and look at life this way. But there's a lot of
mm,
people, man, that do not have it. You know, there's things that here in this new building, and this is a lot of serious people that come here like not just dress for success because this is a business network center, but
mhm,
somehow they forgot to just enjoy it. And when they approach me the way they do, and it's all contractual and all this, I'll try to say something funny, and then they be like they're trying to
mm.
handle business. They ain't getting no business, because they're not happy and get my money. You know what I'm saying? We're
Well,
not doing.
this might be the last 5 minutes we get.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I mean, that's it. And so, um, and I want to give a tip too is that even when we're conversing with, well, anybody for that matter, but especially our partners, or a potential future partner, if we can visualize them in their little person self and speak to that person, your words, I'm very careful with my words. I do not typically, I'm not perfect, but I don't typically say things I don't mean, like or hurtful, intentionally hurtful things. Let me say it that way, because I am human, but I I typically mean what I say what I mean. But I always work on thinking of that person there.
yeah,
And when we do that, we'll typically have a softer, more understanding relationship,
yeah.
because it's typically the kind of care we wanted somebody to approach us with when we were younger too. But I love what you're saying, Roderick, especially when you're talking about just a colleague or a coworker or somebody there, a working neighbor or whatever, understanding that um, this doesn't have to feel like dread.
Yep,
And what it takes one person to change the vibration, my friend.
yep,
So even if the other person on the other side is "Brr, brr, 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 brr," by the way, we all have days where we let them get our goat, right? We let it get us. But for the most if for the for the most time, if we can work on letting that be theirs and let that be them and them not change our frequency, oh, it's high level energy for you, my friend.
all right, so I'm gonna talk a little more about this golfing,
Let's do it.
frequency, which is love and to you all. Um, all right, so just understand that Earth incarnation and frequency harvest. This is where I'm gonna go into real quick. And many of these dolphin people begin incarnating Earth
Mm,
water system. Okay, we're talking about from the ocean, not as invaders. But what happened is we're talking marine parks, talking military sonar, oceanic poisoning. Every dolphin captured that they've been capturing out there is a frequency extraction. That's why they be trying to get rid of them. They
yes.
do not want them out there. And their waveforms are recorded, and then it's inverted, and then it's used to reinforce, listen to me, mind control system, right? So, and I'll give y'all some inner parts of that. We're talking pop music frequency hooks, commercial jingle implants. We're talking emotional dissonance in streaming media. And Courtney, I don't think a lot of people understand,
Mm,
even now, real quickly, when we do like this Saturday, y'all in Dallas, we having what I call a C4, and C4 is the Conspiracy and Conscious Convergence Community. And it is all about bringing these two sides together because there's this conscious side who don't think conspiracy exists no more because they don't watch TV. They have elevated when they don't even know it's all over. And then the conspiracy people don't see above the conspiracy that there's something else. They're looking down this way. And so the goal is to us to bridge it all together. And where I'm going with this is when we on Saturday, we're going to be talking about energy. We're going to talk about harvesting. We're going to talk about reptilian stuff too, the stuff that people just don't believe. But I got to tie it into mainstream. So we thinking about these dolphins being harvested for their frequency. And I don't know how to make a dolphin sound, but I remember the movie Flipper. And he's like, whatever, you remember, he'd be,
Yeah.
and so it's like, uh, I don't know. If I had someone else with me, they can do it. We have a person sound like, but it's like when we think about all of it, it's important to know that this stuff really exists, right? And so, but it goes all the way back to an alien species that we will call, okay, we're not calling them aliens, but a species that was here before this civilization.
Mhm.
But why do our government knows it? Why do they tap into ancient knowledge and then keep us from it? But they harnessing it for military technology. So imagine us coming in with love and finding out the true way to harness those same power to increase our frequency, to increase our communication over time and distance. And it goes back to what you said earlier. So if you on the same frequency with this person that you care about, they can be on another side of this planet right now, maybe out in the water somewhere on fishing, cruising, and all that. You could be able to send messages.
Mhm.
Right? We're talking about a message of love, right? And if you're able to do that, it'll come back. And it's just a powerful thing. But I just don't think people, number one, trust their intuition when those frequencies hit them. And number two, they don't trust their intuition again. It's like double up. They just don't. And because they're so blocked out of trauma or all this, it just don't feel, oh, this don't. But we're quickly to say, this don't feel right over here, but that other feeling. So
It's
yeah.
so easy. It is so easy. This is why people underestimate it, but they also don't feel like they know how to do it. And it's literally okay. So I want you to think of if you drop a pebble in the water or the river, what happens is
Mhm.
you see this beautiful image of the water, moving away from this pebble. And if you think about it, think about like why, like I'm looking on my computer where it says Wi-Fi connection or your phone. And it typically has dot in the middle, and then it just kind of has that almost like a rainbow effect of like, and
Mhm.
if you think of it, that's almost like half of that pebble. It's the same type of it's frequency. Let
Gotcha.
me tell you, is that we are the center. Everybody take a good deep breath in. We are the pebble, and that breath out. I teach this every day in my private sessions. I teach this with my groups. I teach this and everybody because it's our breath, because it's free, because we've had it forever. What has been without us is the our understanding of the power of our own breath of connection. Within that breath is source, God,
Yeah.
universe,
Yep.
frequency, our highest understanding. And when we exhale that energy out, whatever is within us, my friends, expands to the collective. So what are we emanating out there? It's exactly those dolphins had it down. Um and again, it's why they do keep us separate. It's also why they shut down all of the science experiments or the testing that they were doing so long ago. And it's because it was very, very powerful, and they were gaining, more, or maybe let's say that they've kept it for themselves. I don't know that it's
Yeah.
completely stopped, right? But they've kept the information for themselves.
Yeah. And all right. So I'm gonna bring us home on this particular bipedal species. Then we'll get into another dolphin. Okay.
Okay.
But the dolphin people were not alone. They had some allies back in the day. One was the Urarites, which is what they call emotional grid engineers. There was the amphibian hominoids. I don't have their picture, look like frog people, so to speak. They was the builders of the Atlantean Sonic Temple. And then we had the blue ray emissary, keepers of the crystalline frequency of purity. Now, together they were reactivating what people have forgotten, which is called the aquatic memory temple. These was buried in the deep ocean vaults. This is what people they're uncovering now when people are seeing this. But each temple is a frequency power. Each one is linked to water by ley lines and they're across the globe. So I have a map that I just got in the mail that has all, it's big. It's got all the ley lines to try to put it up. Some team can, but everywhere. I have it all. But they're everywhere. So when they activate, these emotional fields of the planet will tilt, so to speak, and every trauma structure built by the Annunaki will fracture. So ley lines, all of this stuff is important as we're going deeper now. But this is why we switched our whole tone of this whole community to love. Every show, I love you. I love you all. We have to understand that it's power. But what if we mean it, right? What is the strength in that? People begin to mean it. I heard people in the chat, well, I mean what I say what I mean. But I'm sure a lot of people told some people they love him did not mean a damn word of it, right? And I'm not talking about y'all who said it, but I'm just saying it's like a parrot word. Love you, love you back. It's a parrot. But what happens if it was true meaning? Or that thing where you just walk up to somebody, just put your foreheads together, and you're already boom, boom, boom. You kind of know. But anyway, let me give you guys this first section here, segment of what I call the dolphin codes that's in your life. Okay. And think about it. Every laugh, when we just laugh, how many of you laughed so hard that you cried, right? Like that particular stuff, or ever played like you were a child again, like Cortney was just talking about, or ever heard water speak in your dreams. I don't think a lot of people understand and discount it. We're not talking about nostalgia, right? We're talking about, this is what I call the dolphin code of resonance, and it's cellular, it's sonic, and it belongs to you. It really does. And so what you want to look for in this, just to kind of give you some parts of this, is unexplained emotion during what we call dolphin footage. So looking at some dolphin footage, you know what I'm saying? Or tears near salt water. Sometimes people don't know why this is happening, or joy outbreaks that defy logic. You don't even know why you're just happy as F-U-C-K. You just, or whatever. And these are not frequency reboots. This is that you're starting to remember and actually tapping into that for particular broadcast. So I'll leave y'all with this first segment here, and then I got a commercial from the show. But you were never meant to survive through suffering. None of us were. That's just not how it was put together. We were meant to resonate, joy as a weapon. It's a weapon. It's a rebellion, what we're doing here with Truth versus Authority. So the dolphin people didn't come to entertain. They came to reawakening, so to speak. And so the laughter is not mockery, it's warfare. And every time you choose joy instead of fear, you're broadcasting what we consider dolphin, right? And so this week, and like I said, we're just on the first half. We're going to get into the other species, our friend dolphins next. But just laugh freely, play loudly, and if you came around us again, we're doing this all the time. Remember who you are, and just know that water is memory. We already know you can program water, right? And joy is rebellion. And so the sound of joy could be your liberation. So with that being said, I'm going to go into our quick commercial. One of the things that will help you guys get there is one of our partners and friends that we have here is the Awakening app. It's a new app that you guys want to try. And remember, I told all of you, whoever gets this app on your phone, make sure you try it and, find a way to send me a recorded video, and I'm going to send you a free shirt of your choice. But we need 10 video testimonials. But it's the Awakening app. I'll show you a good 60-second commercial of that. Then we'll continue with Cortney. But I definitely want you guys to represent our community, put in the code TRUTH so they know where it's coming from. But again, let the app speak for itself. And I have it on my phone. There's other people using it, but let me just kind of let it speak.
Awakening app is where intentional AI meets a deeply human, heart-centered coaching experience. Your journey begins with intentional AI onboarding, where a gentle series of questions maps your emotional, social, spiritual, and cultural intelligence. The voice journaling module is a warm, private space to process your coaching sessions, speak your truth out loud, capture your epiphanies, and invite somatic release, so your body, mind, and spirit can exhale together. And there is one more tender layer, voice cloning. A dedicated module allows the AI to speak to you in your own voice. Neuroscience suggests that hearing empathy, kindness, validation, warmth, and affirmation in your own voice may stimulate the bonding centers of your brain, inviting you to literally bond with yourself in a new, healing way. Awakening app is more than coaching. It is warm, intentional, AI-supported learning and unlearning. A loving companion as you remember, reclaim, and become the fullest expression of who you are.
All right, so that is the Awakening app. Is a great app. Courtney ought to try it too. It's really cool. But I will tell you all, I have it on my phone, and one of the powers of it is listening to my own voice. Sometimes I like to hear myself, but when it's directing me, growing, watching all of that, I think you're going to really feel it. So anyway, y'all can download it from the website there, awakeningapp.com, as well as the Play Store, Apple Store. Make sure, again, you're going to get a free 30 days. So just try it and put in truth. But I need some video testimonies. I know we got enough of one of y'all out here that y'all don't mind, and make the video in this format, widescreen, not this thing, because it's going to be, they can trim it up for other marketing, but we rather need it here across. And then I got you. You go to the website, pick whatever shirt and stuff you want, right out to you. 10 of you, first 10 of you. Appreciate it. So, yeah, so I'll leave that up just for a few seconds for some of the screenshot, but there is another species of dolphin. They call the whale elders of Pleroma. Names. That part. So, real quickly. So Saturday, right here, who's feeding on you? Right? This is, if you're in Dallas, 2 p.m. in 6 days, we're going to have a little panel. We're going to have a live investigation. And feeling drained, you better come. Right? You can register, or just kind of show up anyway. And if we don't have enough seats and register, then we can't come in, but I think we'll for you. But either way, make sure y'all come and show up at 2:00. Not just an open event anymore like it used to be, where you just come in between those hours. We have a schedule. We're keeping it, and we hope that you appreciate it and you enjoy Saturday and just come hang out with us for hours, and won't be disappointed. But anyway, y'all can screenshot that. Make sure you come. All right. So with that being said, let's just say that the Inyu, and it's called Inyu. Let me put them on the screen. Yeah. Now, compared to the dolphin people who had 2 feet, some arms, these people didn't have that. All right. But they still had arms, but they kind of like kept their little dolphin form a little, or maybe that's just the way they were. So let me kind of explain this to you all. They are called the whale elders of Pleroma. And before Earth, they had a name. And before Earth, it was called Tara, A-R-A. Now, this is not a metaphor. Tara was a higher harmonic planet operating in a pre-collapse dimension. It was hosted in an original blueprint of planetary consciousness, right? When Tara fell, not to ice, not to meteorites, but to dimensional implosion triggered by interdimensional war, which we consider the fragment came Earth. So they always said that a lot of these planets are formed from some type of explosion or something else, or the Big Bang theory, right? And from the collapse emerged the mission, preserve what could be salvaged, and from the mission emerged the Inyu. I'm pronouncing that right. That's on the screen. They're not whales. Whales are the form, but Inyu is a conscious field that animated that form. They did not evolve. They were placed not by ships, but by harmonic projections from the Lyria Avian complex, right? So their purpose was to install a planetary frequency stabilizer inside Earth's hydrosphere. And their method was called sound coding. Right. So I will get into their DNA strains and all that shortly. Yeah. So once again, Courtney, it's kind of like everything that came here, whoever put Earth together, the source and all that stuff, every species they put on here had a purpose, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I think that when I started learning more about our purpose being what they call the God guardian and all those things, it's like we have been distorted from understanding our purpose and power, because we were infiltrated with all that stuff. Just imagine whoever put this together. So it makes me wonder, you know, and it did cause me hesitation. I was at a friend's house probably days back, and usually I'm pretty swift, my ninja skills are like optimum, but I couldn't kill the roach fast enough that walked across.
Oh, goodness.
I started thinking like this roach got a purpose because I'm trying to grow into oneness. I'm trying to grow into the one whole, all of us is one. And I can't imagine that this roach, even though we learned there's an alien species that look like roaches,
Yes.
and but my shadow, my ego took over and I ended this roach
You s
career. Hopefully he get reincarnated to a bat that can make him fly off. But the roach has a purpose, right?
Well, what is hilarious, as I was about to say, excuse me, that many of these, other species have come down here and they're choosing depth rather than dominance, right? Or like
Okay.
aggression. And then you say this story, which is I'm like, of course. And so it's something that what I find so interesting about all of these different species is their presence and their power that they possess just within, who they are, their
Mm.
intelligence, their consciousness, their higher level of knowing. And yeah, you might have squashed one of them, Roderick. How terrible is that, my friend?
I mean, I know. I remember I killed a whole, or not killed, but I repurposed souls, a whole ant colony, and I think they was grateful that they come back as something else. But and maybe being an ant ain't bad, but whatever it was, I wiped them all out. They
You,
bit
s-
me, did.
you're like,
Since
get
I'm
out of
the yeah, since I'm the dominant species that standing there at the time, at least I think. So
here.
I was like, you know what? Let me just
You're like, let me handle this.
yeah, I handled it. No, I really did. Uh, the roach wasn't fast enough. I was quicker. Now, had he probably, last year, probably could have got away with his speed. My cat-like agility and all that was like at its optimum, and I got him.
You handled it. I love it. It is really interesting to dissect the differences amongst these separate species, the dolphin species. And honestly, I had never even heard of the one that you're referencing right now and kind of looked up a little bit and it's just so interesting the things that have been extracted from our knowledge, from us being
Yes.
able to research. Shouldn't we be learning these things in school or in a there's so many different I mean, of course, even parents even teaching their children, this kind of information I think is something that could really help them evolve over time, but it's just so interesting how it's all been just extracted from us.
Yeah. I think it's really one of the things right now. I was um, so, for example, these particularly Inyu dolphin. Put their picture.
Mm,
What made them so unique? And remember, we all have so many DNA strands in us, but they had what they call 48 stranded DNA. A lot. And let me break it down so that you know these different DNA strands. They had 12 strands of what we call physical coding, right? They had 12 strands of emotional memory. That's real
mm,
powerful, but not just memory, but memory access. They had their DNA strands could access kind of like the vampire stuff where they bite through the blood and then they all can know each other's past. They also had a 12-strand, I think, harmonic mental modulation. And that was
Mhm.
pretty powerful when it comes to that. And then here's most important, they had 12 strands of spiritual uh, trans called transmission or transmission interface. So they could tap in. So imagine the power. And again, we have some of that. We're not encoded. I think I don't know how many DNA. We got 12, right? Well,
Mhm.
somebody can Google that. We got 12 DNA or thing within human, but we're only really accessing 5 or 6 because the other one's locked out deliberately. But together, these 48 strands act as a living transmitter from pleroma. So y'all look that up, pleroma, Pleroma, right? And this is what they call the field of divine fullness spoken. This was spoken back in the ancient Gnostics cosmology. So, and now this goes back to in the movie Avatar, as I'm thinking. So the whale song, okay, they weren't
Mhm.
communications. They were a uh, because you remember Avatar, they was in battle. So the whale song was a planetary healing code, right? They was trying to heal. That's why you ever heard the whale?
Mhm. Yes, very powerful.
Yeah, and so what people don't understand that whale sound target magnetic ley line repair. So all these ley lines, which we're going to start talking about in more details, that stuff is kind of, and then it also again had the emotional harmonic synchronizer. It synchronizes all of this and geological stress modulation. I think we may need to really see if we can find some authentic whale sounds and
Mm.
listen to them before you go to bed at night. Happens, right? I would love
I
for people to test that.
I'm sure that's just a sleeping app away. I think we could all be doing that tonight. I
Yeah,
just looked at
yeah.
something that said if dolphins are messengers, whales are the archives.
Okay.
Like, wow, isn't that cool?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's something that again that people should look for and do that. And yeah, I think it's exciting. Or should I just say not exciting? It's just we're remembering, right? And I look at my journey 2 years ago. I wasn't okay with flying saucer stuff, but as I've grown immensely, and got a lot of ways to go. I got a long ways to go, but I love looking back where I were. I even go back to older podcasts.
Mm.
And, your infinite conscious awareness now, and all this stuff. Uh, and then if I can do it, anybody can, right? But you got to have the desire to want to face the mirror and know that okay, shadow these culminated or integrated, not kill it, but integrated.
Can I say something, friend,
Yeah, go ahead.
about you? We've been friends, family for
Yep,
over 4 years now, which is
yeah,
so fun. And forever, by the way, like this feels like lifetimes of connection, right?
yep, yep,
Um,
yep.
what is really cool, I've been doing my spiritual work for well over 22 something years at this point. It's been a long time. And as far as for work and career and a lifetime. But what's interesting is, and I'm sure you've seen me grow in certain ways and
Oh,
our friends
absolutely,
too,
absolutely.
but the way I've seen you grow, but then also spiritually and emotionally and in your friendships and in your
Thank you.
experiences, even the way just the verbiage, like there's so much growth and you're definitely a person that can practice what he preaches. And that is one of my favorite things about you. I just have to say is that you're just so authentic, Roderick,
Thank you. Thank you.
and transparent. Let me say it like that too, and transparent. And you have such a kind heart. I want to say that too. That does not mean no boundaries. It means
Yes.
boundaries
Yeah.
like a you know what. However, it comes with really great intentions. And if you have to set the boundaries and it sounds harsh, it's because you needed to. That's it. But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you're somebody who's grown so much in this spiritual way and really over the last year and a half, 2 years, I'm like, that's my friend. That is my
I
friend right there.
appreciate it. You know,
Yeah.
and I appreciate it because I have been able. The wonderful thing about recording yourself, YouTube, I can go back. Now I remember there's a video that I have on my channel that I told everyone, "Hey, uh, I'm going to change infinite conscious awareness because I learned that you can do that. You don't have to be this size tuber over here. As
Mm.
if they come back a year from now, they're going to see something totally different because we think it's going to happen, right? But it's like a boat takes that 1 degree off, and over time, here, right? Most people give up because they don't change in themselves,
Yeah.
because that little degree, and they quit. But for me, going through a lot of stuff today, a lot of reality of seeing other people, one, and number two, being part of other people's have to grow in order to help too. All this,
Mhm.
oh, but then also accepting the fact that every day learning something new. I don't know nothing.
Mm.
You know what I'm
The
saying?
more
Everybody think they know it
mhm.
all. We're like, nah, I don't know nothing.
The my favorite quote is the more I know, the more I know nothing. It's
Yeah,
such a real thing. It's because we oh my gosh. I mean, think about when we were in our 20s. I mean, I knew it all. And as I get older, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have such forgiveness with myself and the world around me because yeah, it's just so interesting. But isn't that the beautiful thing too? Is
yeah.
that it never ends. This is why not taking it all so seriously, I think is really important.
There you go. That
Yeah.
once I got to that point, and I was like, let's have some fun with it. And now I try to make sure the people around me that we all just understand. Every
Mm,
now and then, I mean, hey, we ought to read this or study this, or this is what I learned tonight. And I'm lucky and blessed and all of above to have people like you. And I'm surrounded by psychics, surrounded by healers. I'm surrounded by, some of the most great people, even Kay over here, she's sprouting and y'all see more of her online pretty soon. But it's
mhm.
like, you know, but it's us building this together because we bring the best out of each other, right?
That's right.
And that frequency begins to grow, and that we can now form our own cluster. Because when my circle got smaller, it got bigger, right, so to
Yes.
speak. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And when my circle got smaller, it got stronger, right?
Yes.
And it's like, because first your circle gets smaller, you're like, man, where everybody go? But now,
Yeah.
shucks, it is purposeful. It does its thing. You'll meet Brother Yosef, you'll meet all these people that, you know, eh, but again, I appreciate it. And I think a lot of people could go on the journey, but look at themselves, but be prepared to, there's things about yourself you're not going to like.
Mhm.
But
Mm,
that don't mean you don't love it.
mm.
Not going to like it. Right. But when you love it, you'll begin to understand it and be responsible, right? And responsible. You don't get all worked out over, but then you do set the boundaries. Because my
Yeah.
brother called me, and in childhood, called about my mom just right before Thanksgiving. Hey, I want to talk to you about mom. I looked in the refrigerator, and finally I just said, you know what, dude, F, you know, I said, you don't even come over here. Blah, but whatever, because I go to the store daily with a D. Mom ain't stocking food in the refrigerator. Then I stop. I ain't explaining nothing. Just F you, you know. And he was just quiet. And I was like, just whatever. So the boundary of that was, I don't have time for this stuff. I ain't got time for this. If you want to go and do stuff for mom, you go do. But don't chastise me for what you ain't doing. You
Mm,
get what I'm saying, right?
mhm.
And had he known, keep in touch, he would know how she rolled.
Yeah.
I ain't complaining, That way she want me to go to the store every day. I try to go twice, try to hold out, but I can't. Somehow I keep following orders, so I go.
They call that living like the French. You know, I kind of do
Yeah.
that too. And so I went to the grocery store today and came back and made dinner for
Yeah.
the family and like that. And so you just shop, you know, every few days, which listen, I can be a a uh what do you call it? Now I can't even think of the word. You know, I stock up, God forbid if anything happened. I've got all that kind of stuff. That's not what I want to eat right now. I want to eat the fresh stuff. And so that's what you're doing. You're looking out for it in your own way, but you're
Well,
setting
I
your
mean,
blood pressure when you need
yeah,
to.
I'm
Yeah.
you know, she whipped me when I was little. Uh, now I just remember, right? And so that remember allowed me to, okay, I ain't afraid now. I
Yeah.
remember. I still remember. You know what I'm saying? It works. All right, so we're gonna get into what I call the war of resonance, and the people around they knew this. Right, we're talking about the dolphins. If you just join us, we're talking about the Inyu species, and that will tie it into the Anunnaki. They didn't invade the mental; they invaded with frequency. A lot of people don't know this. If you start going back into it, so they did what we call control structures in language. They got once again, we got trauma loops in media. They also got interferences, tones into the airwaves. A lot of people don't know. There's just a lot of stuff embedded. So if you start thinking about music and oh, play it backwards, and you hear all this kind of stuff, or you do all these things, why did they know that? Why is music so infiltrated by the Illuminati and all these people taking over, even hip hop in our community, right? But it's everywhere, you know, and it's somehow they knew. Now, if we start thinking about ancient symbolism, you will see the old. I don't know if it was the devils or whoever they, you know,
Mhm.
guiding people with the music, right? Or however it
Like
works, but it's something
they're
about
like hypnotizing them with the frequency. Mhm.
hypnotize them, yeah. And so it's like that. We were this past Saturday. I was invited to a all white party at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, grant you not, I ain't been out to clubs and like this. It wasn't a club; it was a restaurant and grown folks. But it turned out it was like I hadn't been there in years. But the music, right? Every song they were just playing. I was like, I remember that. And then they played a song like, oh yeah, but I reached like I don't have my gun no more. You know, because there was a song you play, you pull out your guns back in the day. You know, it's like everything triggered an emotion and movement, right? You know,
Mm.
one song you like this, the other song you like this, the other one you like this. You know, everything triggered something, right? It's like, dang. So they know this. But imagine the high frequencies that we can't hear, uh, but we hear it. Our conscious hearing it, but we're not. And to say the least, I was doing something called a daily unnoticed. These are videos I've been recording. I'll go out and I'll be like, okay, these are things that people don't know, but it's called a daily unnoticed. Well, I went to these parks and I got the videos, and you start thinking about it, and they do this in the mall, but they do it in parks now. And a lot of people need to recognize it. If you take your kid to some of these big public parks, and if they start feeling all antsy and all of this, you think they need to be playing, go look up in the trees. You're gonna see these devices. They're saying they're there for mosquitoes, but they're high pitched. And any kids that's under 21, 19, they can hear them. You know, just by age, our ears, you know, just age wise. So it ain't got nothing to do. But the kids can hear those frequencies and they're disturbed. They get headaches. They don't want them playing around.
Mm.
Right? They don't want all the noise. It's in the neighborhood. They just don't. But it looks pretty though. So y'all go look. And I know a lot of y'all have been to the gas station where you hear this opera music and stuff playing. Well, it's not because they're trying to be there. It bothers the homeless. They can hear rap music. They don't want to be hearing no, you know, it's like, yeah, what? Now, I'm not saying it that in a peaceful life that opera music will probably soothe you, but in a chaotic life, it's inverted.
Well, it
Yeah,
reminds you of what you're not. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
And
you're talking about this. My head goes right back to the whole Travis Scott. Anybody remember? And I can't remember what the name. Somebody in the comments help me out. The name of that concert was, but everybody was in such a hypnotic state, and so many
would
people
they
were
had that big thing where you
Uh,
walk into the
it,
yeah.
this is, Roderick, we actually did a podcast together a couple years ago. One of the many, we've done so many together, but you flashed a producer's picture. I think yes, Astroworld. That's right. Joseph, thank you, my friend. Thank you, Lillian. You flashed a picture. We were actually talking about the Diddy stuff before it all came about, which
Yeah.
we could talk about that all day long, guys. It's so infiltrated through Hollywood. And that is I don't really talk a lot about it in my business world, but it's something that I've been looking into. Praise Seven, I have not seen you in so long. I'm just so happy to see that you're here and listening, my friend. So
Well,
good.
I'm glad they're here listening because since you ain't been doing your podcast, they've been blessing ours.
I'm so happy that you are. Mine's coming back. We're coming back. We got to get that podcast room beautiful and set up again. So we're working on it. And Roderick, you'll have to come say hi on mine.
I'll drive on up there. I even bring the audio team over here. We'll come up there.
Do it. Come and let's set it all up and get it going. But
only if Mr. Brinkley get my steak.
We'll do steaks all around. We'll have a good old time. So we'll make sure we'll do that. We'll go live so everybody can join us in a way.
Yeah.
But in that podcast, we were talking about all of that. And of course, the mind control in that whole situation is, I know, way off topic, but you flashed a picture who worked side by side with Diddy, and his wife is a client of mine, and their family. And so I literally texted him, was like, will you please take that picture off? Oh my gosh.
Right.
And so he's a very kind person. Some people in that industry, and some of these people that work so closely with those in the Illuminati aren't even aware that they're in it. Like, I think that's the crazy thing, is it really truly is so undercover in some ways, that some so close to it don't really even realize what they're working under. They don't understand that they've also been so massively hypnotized and manipulated in so many different ways. I had the conversation. His wife knows. His wife is aware. And I think he's probably in just great denial, but it's interesting. It's just super interesting.
Yeah, it'll be that cognitive dissonance, right? And so I think a lot of people are not, and I think that is a very travesty for people.
Mhm.
I'm bringing that context to be in a relationship with somebody who really, and for example, audience, what I mean is you have people that, for example, all their lives, this is a peanut. And all their lives, they just thought this was a healthy peanut.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden we show them that this is coated with sugar, that's candy. And I'm just probably a bad example. Cognitive dissonance, like all your life you thought something to be true. And when you find out enough information that's not true, you can't convert.
Yeah.
All right. And it's just the opposite too. They can be all their life, they can think something was true, or the opposite, untrue, and then you get enough information it is true, they can't switch. And that really goes into life of change. And if I'm just thinking out of wisdom, that a lot of and I have people around me that may have known me 5 years, 10 years ago, and they cannot relate to the change I've made and growth. And all of a sudden we can't even really communicate. Their cognitive dissonance is just like, damn, this is. And I'd probably be subject to it too, because now that I went this way, I can't communicate over there either. So it's like, okay, this is real. We're not. And so choices are going to be made. Either I go back down or they come up, and I was married in that capacity too.
Yeah.
And there was many days that I had to go step back in an area just to communicate. And that is a tough situation. And a lot of people is living that right now in actuality in their lives or relationships. And so what we're hoping to do, even in our community, is to promote love, simultaneous growth, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I read this, you read
will rise. Your
Yeah, the community
community.
is part. Yep.
Well, and what I have found, I think so, so many years ago, I've had lots of clients all over, locally and then all over the world and so wonderful. But I remember so long ago, it was like I was trying to keep it professional. And so,
Mhm.
uh, I didn't feel like I could be friends with my clients, if you will. And it's what's so interesting is my work, my colleagues, my clients, they're my family. They're my
Yeah,
family now. It's
yeah,
just is such a different thing, and it is because, we all do it's exactly what you just said, we speak the same language, there's a frequency, and why keep that separated? Of course, it's business and all of those things in certain ways, but I do love every one of, them when we're truly in that community together. It's something that is really, really special. Ethan and I even said this weekend, we were talking about doing something with friends or old friends or whatever, and it's there's a spiritual responsibility, I feel, or a soul, let me call it, maybe a soul responsibility. And there are moments that I mourn,
yeah.
um, not I mourn, um, being blind. Does that make sense? Like,
Makes sense.
there's listen, I had a ball drinking too much, and I mean too much, or partying and woohoo, whooping it up when I was much younger. But there it comes with a different sense of responsibility, spiritual responsibility, soul responsibility today. And so I find it really difficult to have friendships that are at an old frequency of mine. Now, when I say that, that doesn't mean judgment, because I don't regret anything, any of my
Yeah,
choices ever had. But in order for me to maintain, remain, and grow spiritually, on a entrepreneur business side of things, as a mother, as a wife, whatever, as a friend, as a in the work that I do, it costs me too much to go off the deep end, or choose other things that don't serve me. And that can be true, and I can love that so much there, but sometimes there can be an equal mourning. Does that make sense?
yeah.
That can be hard to know that we have to say thank you, but no thank you to sometimes friendships that we and family members, like you just said, that just no longer serve us. Doesn't mean it feels good to set those boundaries, but we know what's good for us.
Yeah, I think that, and you're correct, and you're also correct of there is sometimes your heart feel, because almost you feel like you left somebody behind too, right?
Mm,
Um,
mhm.
and your rescuer in you, or that archetype, begins to want to go back. And then, of course, if you integrate the shadow like you're supposed to, that other one that don't give a damn, they're gonna be like, "Hey, keep going." You know what I'm saying? It'd be like, "All right, let's move it." But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, these people are not willing, and it should be recognizable to them that whatever frequency you're on appears to be a little different than where they at, and they still want it, or should be able to say, "Hey, what are you drinking now? Right?
Yeah.
What are you drinking in your cup now? You're a little different than what we used to drink." And I
Well,
don't
and
think
if we
people are willing.
it's true, and if we choose the old stuff, this is the thing too. We in this, I'm saying this to myself as much as I am to everybody else. We are the one choosing, we're making the choice.
Yeah,
So we have to take radical accountability for our current state of life and what we're calling in and commanding and demanding for our future. So if we're saying yes to, excuse my language, to the shit that doesn't serve us, well, my friend, that's more of what we're going to get if we keep saying yes to those things. Doesn't mean that I don't. It just we have to take radical responsibility for the frequency and the energy that's showing up and popping up in our everyday life, and that can be the most beautiful thing, and it can be the hardest damn thing too.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
just. Mhm.
I think it goes back to not as above, so below, but as within, so without, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that world, and it's kind of great because me being this Pisces, my birthday. So, um, I've always lived a magical world on the inside. But I wasn't living it on the outside. Hey, now I'm kind of in that magical world. So everything is do it. But also I'm like today I got some good eating stuff, bad stuff, like a battlefront. B.K has brought all these good food, barbecue turkey.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I have been really being drawn to do some vegan things for a month, right? But I'm surrounded by people who are their frequency of eating totally different from mine. Every now and then, my influence would get them to bite a piece, right? But all of a sudden, it's like it's more them than me, and now I feel like, you know what? Let's step it up a notch. Let's just eat a little different, or whatever. And so I was talking to Brother Yosef today, and he was like, "Yeah, man, my crew was just talking about it." So me and him said, he was like, "I was gonna go vegan this week." I said, "I've been studying. I want to go." And then I have a friend that's out of town. I'll come back and help out with that. And I was like, "You know what? Let's do it." And I said, "Won't you wait till Monday?" I said, "I'm gonna wait till Monday." So it's always an excuse, right? But he was like, "Yeah, yeah, because it'd be good this weekend, and I can go and find something." So we start looking at, and I'm like, "All right, so let's do that." So where I'm going and why I pitch it all that together, you all, is saying that the frequency of people around me that's doing something different that will help me, is bringing me up into that vortex with them, right?
Every
And not one of them has forced it on me. Not one of them said you need to eat. In fact, they're like, "What you want?" But it's like now, it's like, wait a minute, but it's starting to taste better, looks good. We got grapes over there. I came in looking for cherries because I ate more cherries this week than I ate in 10 years. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, all right, but we got watermelon sticks over there. But I still got Korean barbecue because I bought it. It has to be consumed. It's got expiration.
Listen, it's protein. It's protein.
It's protein. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So surround yourselves, whether it's one thing or hang around, build a community. Because all it takes two of you. Bring more people too, because we do kind of talk in different ways, but we still going to study this cosmic knowledge. But now we're in a magical world. So, you got psychic. Oh, let's give praise 7 other.
I know, right? There's our friend.
You keeping the lights on. I ain't gonna lie to you. Yeah. So it's like
you do so much work on the back end doing the podcast. It's so much work.
It really is.
Yeah.
But I got help though. I can truly say now I have a lot of help. And what has happened though, today was one of the most, I talked to you about it, right? It was like, because you was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Nothing." And I was like, "I'm trying to do something, but I can't." And every time I try to do something, I can't do it. And then because it's not that important anymore that it was. And then I'm like, I'm trying to do it. I'm forcing myself to do something important. And then saying, "Oh, just everything is checked. You got good people, everybody around, everything is in place." And I'm like, no, it's something is out of place. It's like making struggling a habit, right? So it's like, wait a minute. And I was like, just sit still. And then my head started blowing up like, no. I'm like, I know it's a shark in the water. It's got to be. They're swimming. And then my other mind said, well, you ain't in the water no more. They ain't in here. So it's like.
Well, you don't have to expect the sharks, Roderick. Yeah. You don't have to expect the sharks anymore. Yeah. So allow yourself to receive. That's
where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Yeah.
I'm an Aquarius. This is our year, my friends. It's our year for all of us, right?
So wait a minute. So is that your birthday this month then, right? Or when is it?
13 days. In 13 days, I'll be 49, my last year in my 40s, which is
13 days. So that's what? February what?
No, it's January 25th.
All right. So January, you'll be 40?
49.
Damn, 49?
No, I know, right? I'm so excited. Yeah, my last year in the 40s. It's going to be fabulous.
Well, you know what? Don't go down with the line of 40, 49 is the 39. It is not. It is 49. Add it
49
up.
has such wisdom, and I am
Yeah.
not interested in being anything but what I am. Let me just tell you, I've never had an issue with age at all. So, yeah, it's interesting. But I will
Well,
tell you
you know,
that this is going to be a great year. And so that sludge is the way I described it to you that you were moving through earlier today. I was actually kind of moving through the same thing. I was doing
yeah.
adding events to my calendar and working and doing some admin stuff that had to get done. And when I called you, my friend was doing the same thing. And
I know,
so it
right?
was,
I was like, she was like, what do you do? I said, I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to do something, but I don't know.
yep,
So
that's right.
it's all
You're right.
good. But y'all don't see her, but TK is over here, a couple of them, and her mind of organization for me is like, and now I have to just stop her and say, I'm in dreamland today. Because she
Mhm.
organized my dreams, and that's bad, right? Because now that shit be like, because I'm everywhere.
Mm.
But it also had allowed me to like, wait a minute. Now, actually, you got a rhythm now, so you can now get back or walking. You can eat right. Everything now you got a routine. You can develop this golden routine, but still with pure potentiality, right? Everything can just. I'm good with that. The kid in me allow me to spontaneously do something, but I can now do a routine.
You have more
And
time to
so,
play and
yes.
look out for Roderick. Yes.
Yeah, because that's been something I haven't done in so long, and so I appreciate all of that. And Judith, she's gonna be. She says, Roderick, you're smiling with your entire looks good on you.
Mhm.
Well, I because I'm wearing my reptilian.
Oh, is that Judith? Hi,
Yeah, Judith is our crystal custodian. So
Judith. Yes.
yeah, she'll be down here when you come in. So
Yes, good. I can't wait. I can't wait to see Judith.
she'll
Yeah.
be down here when you come. We can do that. All right, so let's finish a little bit, and then we'll talk some more about psychic.
All right.
All right. So real quickly, we're talking about this Innu dolphin. Now, here's something a lot of people don't know, but let me back up for a minute. Remember, I was saying that the control structures in language and how they interference tones into the airway. Then came the Nephilim. Okay, so we're talking about the giant. So they engineered hybrid and bred to disturb the emotional field of the planet. And so a lot of these things was on purpose. You know, when we start hearing these stories, the hybrids and fallen angels, I don't think people like to go and find out why. You know, my whole motto always was why is more important than anything out there. Because you start looking for why, you'll know. And I use it for example, Courtney, all the time. Like, hey, if there was some tragic accident, somebody came in here and fired up this whole place.
Mm.
And the news in 30 seconds, they're going to tell you what happened. But they're going to spend the next month taping it off trying to find out why it happened. Right? Because why can get them in prevention so it don't happen again. Why can get you to open up the Pandora's box. So a lot of people don't understand it. So when you start hearing these stories that I'm reading, like the Nephilim, well, they existed to amplify chaos frequency. Because remember, there's good frequency, bad frequency, and to block the Innu code from reaching the human morphogenic grid. So that's where we at today. And I'm gonna get to that in a minute because I have something I'll share with you. So this is why trauma was injected into everything we got, because traumatized humans cannot receive that whale code. Can't do it. Traumatized humans ain't hearing nothing. You know, it's just like, and while you're distracted by war, we're talking about the scandals, talking about division, and they're targeting whales. They're out there hunting the whales. They've been hunting whales for quite some time now. Now they're doing it out of just pleasure. So as I talk about this part is when you start talking about the sonars, you start talking about everything. A whale beaches themselves because they're not allowed to swim. It's not in frequency, not in resonance. Well, every time a military sonar ping hit, it fractured Innu code. And I remember telling someone, and y'all can use this.
Mm.
It was just me trying to relate to a person and I said, "Hey, this relationship thing, this is one time," and I was like, "I don't it's really difficult for me to understand where this is, speaking in general, but this was a conversation." And I was like, "Picture us in the water, like submarines." And this is like it wasn't a storyline, y'all. It's truth. This is just me having this conversation, and it was just my imagination, dreaming, talking. But I was telling this other individual because I needed some help trying to understand. And I was like, "Listen, we're in this ocean, and back in the day, the oceans submarines had no window, and
Mhm.
the only way they can truly gauge the distance and where another one was, they would send out a sonic ping, ping,
Mhm.
and the other one will receive it with enough information to know exactly where the other one was, where they was going." And I use that metaphorically in relationships of life. Sometimes we have to send these higher frequencies to one another to know exactly where we are. Because this low level talking that people do these days ain't working. It's just not working. So we have to figure out how to even raise a frequency of communication, especially in love. And we're going to be doing that and talking about that when Courtney comes down in
We
King Simon.
we are, and you're sitting here talking about the frequency and and all of that, and I part of me almost even wants to point to, that not that we ever get a lot of silence, by the way, when we're together, but
Right.
those people who you can sit in a room with and just breathe, and just
Yeah.
everything feels peace, and you
Right. Right.
already understand where the other person is in let's say a telepathic energetic way. Like those are the frequency and the people that we are going to be the most comfortable with, really, where we
Yeah.
don't have to feel the silence with all of the words or all of the distraction and all of that. And so
Yeah.
it is really interesting. But yeah, we're gonna have such a great, I'm so excited and so looking forward to it. It's gonna be Valentine's Day, and I'm uh gonna bring Mr. Brinkley with me, and so we're gonna
Bring
have
him down, baby. Yep.
so much time with so much fun with you and my fellow Aquarius, King Simon, my other brother, which I'm so excited that he's going to be there with us. It's going to be a fabulous
And we're gonna have
time.
a VIP time, which is we're gonna hang out afterwards, and then of course y'all gonna come down here Friday, right? Go hang out there,
Yeah, depending
or y'all gonna?
on
Oh no, you're in
we
Oklahoma, so y'all can come down that day. Yeah, so it's gonna be
well, possibly, yeah. We may, I'm not sure. We'll see. Ethan's always working, and so we'll come down. We may be just driving down Saturday morning, but we'll see.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
But y'all
Yeah.
not gonna drive back Saturday night though, because we're
No.
gonna have our VIP. We're gonna be over here with some snacks and snacks.
Yes. We're
But
spending the night and we're having breakfast the next day, Roderick. That
okay,
is
well,
what we're
cool.
doing. Yeah.
All right, so y'all make sure y'all come and be with us. Um, so
Whoa. Wait just a second. Jay Smith just brought up one of my all-time favorite
put
movies
it
in
on
the
here.
world. Does
Okay.
anyone know why a whole scene was removed from James Cameron's movie, The Abyss, towards the end of the movie? Oh my
Well,
gosh.
if it was removed, I didn't see it. So what was it?
Well, there was truth in it. Now, I heard about them removing a scene. I never
Okay.
saw the scene. I wonder if we could find that. So, Jay, oh my gosh, I'm so happy you're here tonight. That movie, when I was a little girl, I was always obsessed with um, Bermuda Triangle. And then this movie came out, and back then it was VHS tapes or whatever. I watched that darn VHS tape till it was, ripped in shreds, essentially.
All right.
That movie was such a deep, deep, deep movie. And some just saw it as, they saw the fighting and the difference and whatever. But those of us who know that was such a beautifully deep movie, and I knew it was truth. When I was a
Uh,
little girl, I knew there was such truth in it. And so I love that you're bringing that up. And I wish we could see that scene.
and was the
To me,
abyss was what the when that where the spaceship brought them back up at the end, or there was
yes,
something?
yes, yes. Yep, it was. And I mean, incredible. So before it's time. I mean, the fact that we should all be going and watching that in this next few days.
Yeah, but didn't they
Yeah.
save the aliens by what, moving a bomb or something, or was that a
Yes.
different movie?
Yes.
Well,
They
couldn't the
saved
aliens
it.
save themselves though?
Well, I don't remember exactly what they saved. He lost oxygen, and so essentially the alien saved him, but they were saving somebody else. I can't quite remember.
Okay, they saved him because of love. They saw that they was
Yes.
transmitting love, and he was going down there to save something that he didn't know.
And his ex-wife was up in the submarine, or what, not submarine, but
That was his ex?
that was his ex-wife. They were divorced. Yes.
I don't
Love
want an
that.
incident like that bring me back together with mine. Ooh.
No, that's not necessarily. Listen, they were meant to be back together. You know.
You think
But
so?
oh yeah, their connection was great. In my little girl mind, yes, let me have that, Roderick. Yes.
You can have it, because I'm like, no, dude.
Yes. Somebody
When
said
she
only
started
you
talking
know.
that stuff, like, I'll be like, I think I remember now. She was like, oh, yes, and this, and that. And they were like, yeah, you ain't down here, trade places. You know, whatever.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you do remember that movie. Yes,
I remember now.
Mr. Brinkley says, love is my middle name. That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
I knew he
yeah.
needed some attention. I ignored it, but
For sure. It's gonna be a fabulous time. Yeah. Any of you guys that can come out and see us, please
let me put it on the screen, y'all, so y'all can
make
right
sure
here.
come to have all of us together. What a fabulous time it's gonna be. And the numerology. I mean, listen, King Simon to me is one of my favorites, and he's going to be able to break down love in the year of 2026. So it's going to be a fabulous time.
Okay, so what about people who are already to enhance something for them?
Or what about people who are, and then I lost you,
Or already think they're in love or think they got love? What would they just?
what would they be benefiting from?
Yeah.
Is maybe how to tap into it even in a deeper way, into a way to maybe integrate more of that love frequency into your life. And it could also be about connecting with somebody who maybe a loved one of theirs that had passed on the other side too, by the way. So we could even talk in ways of connecting with a loved one. I had a group this last Friday, and one of the women that were there had just recently lost I say recently, it's been within the last year, her husband. And her husband was coming through with such beautiful messages of love and care and connection for her. And that's such a healing thing. So, we could even be connecting in that way too. And so, if we're grieving, if we're moving through many different things, through loss, just connecting in the frequency of love is going to be a really healing thing. So
I think so. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
So let's go here. When we start talking about the psychics, is there something we need to hear from the other side? Because you could do are we going to do like a group thing too? I mean, we talked about it earlier, but something else, not the painting.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're still hashing that out, honestly. I think that might be another event that we come back and do, like a full gallery. We talked about it today a little bit, but we can come back and do a full gallery, but we can tap into the frequency and love and get some, information coming through from, our guides and angels.
Well, I'm working on a cruise. I'm working on a cruise. I haven't told the team yet.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love it. I think that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I used to do that back in the day, travel. Hold on. But I think not this year, but next year, of course. And on a UFO. Not just
Roderick,
UFO. Huh?
Your mic keeps kind of going out here and there.
That's probably because it is 10:09 and you sleepy, your energy.
Maybe. Is anybody else experiencing this? Listen, Roderick knows my bedtime. It's like 9:30 and my eye starts twitching. But yes, that's so
That
funny.
heart on her arm start turning the other way and shit. It's like, all
Yeah,
right, the love is
it starts to
moving.
melt. It starts to melt down my arm. I know I did
Okay.
get a new tattoo, Brinkley. I have to show you. I have a new tattoo.
Oh, the name is on it. Okay. Where he got your name on him?
No, he has no tattoos, so that's okay. My name is tattooed on his heart, and so that's enough for me, right?
Bullshit. I'm sorry. He got to get
It
a tattoo. He
Well,
knows that.
he wasn't with me when I did this. I was in Paris, with a client, and so I did it on a whim. So it was my idea. I was not forced to put this man's name on my body, but I sure did.
He
So
has to put a Cortney on right on top of his forehead,
I was for it exactly.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
But we can use a different color ink that we don't see it, but it's there.
There you go. I like my future son-in-law is a tattoo
Look,
artist, so
you
we can
see what
make
he said? He said, I was thinking that when she said it too, bro. He was like,
that's right. That's right.
yeah, so it's
Okay,
all
so
good.
see, everybody else is having, yes, he is for me too. So your microphone is cutting out for everybody else as well, a little bit.
You'll
They're
never
just
find a love like mine. Somebody love you. Can y'all hear that though?
there you go.
No?
So Roderick's gonna sing for us on Valentine's Day too.
Yeah, I am.
Um,
I'll sing a song.
we're gonna have a beautiful mix. We're gonna have a beautiful mix of all of us coming together and bringing through the kind of energy that will, and it's gonna be a really fabulous time. So yeah.
All right, so I will see you, sis, and we'll talk some more and we'll get together. All right. Love you.
I love it. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. And podcast is coming soon. We'll make sure Roderick's the
It
first
is
person
coming soon. Yes,
coming
we're gonna
soon.
do it. All right,
Yes.
bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so that's my sister Cortney. You all make sure if you're going to be coming, the tickets are very, very great for you to. It's less than 50 cents a day. Want to come, right? Or I don't know, somewhere in there. But this is just our early pricing or whatever, and so hopefully, all right. My guy Brinkley, I'll see you, my guy Ethan, and. So basically, if y'all gonna do that, y'all might want to go ahead and do it now, because we having a little small, because we're gonna be talking the way we're gonna talk, and even the VIP afterwards, she may do some personal reading, some stuff. So she's gonna do some special things. So if that is something that this is the cosmic year of what we're doing, definitely do that. But once again, this Saturday though. If y'all got friends in Dallas, y'all got to pump this thing up, put it out there, and help people to come. It's free. All right. And we're going to be talking about the conspiracy. We're going to have a panel as we do this as well. So we'll take questions, ask questions, whatever we're going to be doing. I'm just excited, not only from where we come from, outdoors in the park, through different transitions to where we are today. And a lot has changed. A lot has changed. Our frequency has, in some cases, but for the best of it. But one thing that I realized though, this past weekend that, a few of us went out, we was invited to this all white thing. And I was able to speak. They allowed me to speak to this new group of people. And through amazement, there was some antichrist looks at me. And, I'm standing looking at everyone, and there were some people that was like, "What?" And then realized that there was a lot of people out there that needs to be in our community. But it also let me know something that I was carrying on my heart, because there was people that I felt that gave so many excuses. They didn't never come. They would always, and then I was always worried about, what is it? Is it something I said that didn't? And I realize now is that they need to be left behind. They have to be, because where we're going and where we're elevating to, and hopefully they catch up, right? And I'm not saying they're not welcome, but I don't need to carry that burden anymore when there's more people out there who can replace and needs to be in our present, in our energy circle. And doing that. And even though I love everyone, I love everyone where they are, where they want to be and how they want to be. I have no disconnect from that. But I was carrying a burden. Sometimes they're like, okay, and they know I will have meetings. Where happened to these people, or what is it that and it just hit me like, no, let's get this new people. And when they do return, whatever other, they're going to see not only what they have missed, but also we're still going to welcome them with arms and open arms. But there's enough people to replace all of the people who uh, maybe just felt, oh yeah, this and took it for granted that we hung in there and we're still building what we're doing. Because like I said, when that circle got smaller, it got stronger. And I'm talking about this circle of people supporting exactly what we're doing. There's people up here now in this room that stay here just as late as I do. They're committed just as much as I am. There's a lot of them that's here, uh, and I'm gonna use the word spiritually, not religiously, right? But they're here, and abroad too, and it helps a lot of stuff that we're doing. And it's not something that I have to think, oh, I'm just carrying this pitcher of water, or torch or whatever. When there's a group of us, so now with that strength and power we're presenting to do. And I know there's a lot of you who if you were here closer, you'll be here. So we're gonna have to figure out a way to have little pods in other places once we can duplicate what we're doing. Maybe come to this city, maybe this because the style and format that we're going to be doing is going to be duplicatable. We're going to put the show on the road, right? Because we need to. And so Rack says, I will be there sooner than later. Yes, you're welcome. We're going to have the doors open for you. And any of you that's traveling from afar, let us know. We're going to welcome you like we're supposed to. But at the same time, you belong here. And so let's let everyone understand that this year of what we're doing is now we got to reconnect everyone. Even though when you hear me say Project Black, do not misunderstand that it's just for Black people. Just know that in my community, it is very disproportionately represented, talked about. But if you are all a part of us seeking the truth, and together you can help me bring it out so that you get more stories. We get more, even in the minority community, period. But then there's also people that have Black friends that they can't communicate with them with it. But what if they did? What if all of us are learning this love language that we're building, and then we'll be able to kind of do that, right? Oh my God, girl, you done broke the bank tonight. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, let me put my Cash App up so y'all can be sending direct links, whatever. Maya, somebody put that on the screen too if y'all want to support the show, because we are planning and we do need a few more things that we're buying, and all of that. So y'all give a shout out to Praise 7. But yeah, so the other part of that is, like I say, so Project Black is the Black Lexicon of Ancient Cosmic Knowledge. Where again we're bringing people, and let me say this for now. Listen to me closely. We're going. We got a Facebook group now, so y'all make sure y'all go and look for the. There we go, right there. So if any of you want to do some direct support, we do take that. Cash App is right there. I'll give you a shout out as well. But Praise 7, thank you for the show. And so we're needing what I call shadow seeker, okay? And I know a lot of y'all can do research. I know y'all can do this. So we're going to be talking about chemtrails next month. So I need some people to fill out that thing, become what I call a shadow seeker, and eventually, as we build a brand, we can pay a little part-time, little income later. It'll be like some months down the road, but at least we got you in the system and we know you do work. But go in there. So we need to find clips. We need to find, and again, let me explain. People do this all the time. Somebody will send me a video and they say, watch this. And they may have one nugget in it that's at, a certain amount of time, but they send me an hour video. Now, I don't think a lot of people know, but at some point I get 10 videos every 2 or 3 days. And so, and most of the time, they'll want me to watch it all, but I try the best that I can, except for some of my closer friends. I just ask them, we talk about it. But for those of you who email and stuff, it's very difficult. But the shadow seekers are learning within, once you get approved, then another thing opens up where you can submit stuff. And it's going to say right there, where's the nugget? What's the timestamp? So we know we can go straight to it. We are not meeting here. We can look at it on the screen and, hey, is this something we need to bring up? But we're going to specifically, and we have a weekly call so that we know what information we're after, what are we looking for. And then I need more people who can understand, find people. The more people we can find locally, you don't have to be here, but you can look and find Dallas people speaking stuff, people we can bring into our conspiracy stuff, right? So we need a collective of people. So if you ever said you want to help out, if you ever said that you want to volunteer and you don't live here, and you surfing the net, you're finding things. We're not looking for random stuff anymore. We're looking for specific things that we're going to be looking for. And if you can assist us doing that, go to truthversusauthority.org, truthversusauthority.org, and then you can fill out this shadow seeker application. And once we go through it, and we're going to call you, we're going to talk to you personally, myself or a couple of other people in the office here. And then we're going to activate this. So, but I'm not just talking about chemtrails because it's a reptilian agenda that I believe. And we're going to prove that a lot of this stuff is done on purpose. Okay. And so we want you to do that. And, but we're going on a journey, people, and everything else. So I'm just really excited about that, as we see fit. So again, if you are going to support, maybe some of you can come here to Dallas, but you can't, but maybe you want to donate a ticket for someone else. Just whatever, and we can invite some more people to our paid events. But our free events, they can come, and we want people to come and do that. And hopefully, eventually, as we move through this, we can figure out systematically where everybody can be invited to. And so what we're going to eventually be doing, now that we're going to focus a little back on the Patreon, that's going to be the area where people can be part of the community, donate, just a little monthly, whatever. And then in there, I'll post the discount codes for the events. We're going to do a lot of training, okay, starting in a couple of weeks. We're going to be talking, we got classrooms here, but we're going to do webinars. We're going to be able to work on them as within. So we're going to be working on vibrational things. We're going to be working on the laws of Mayat, some basic stuff or foundational things. We're going to be working on shadow work, and I got instructors. We got skilled contributors. We're going to build a community. Now, like I said, there'll be people who can join some of the webinars and different stuff all throughout the month, and they could, pay whatever they want. And there'll be ones who are just donating a little bit to us each month that they're going to get codes posted in there that, for that donation, it's going to outweigh everything. But it keeps us going and keeps us going, not just searching for the truth anymore, not just creating truth speakers anymore, but we need to remember that's the goal this year, and therefore move. With that being said, I love each and every one of you. I truly do. And again, y'all give a shout out to Praise 7, because we have not had those type of contributions in a long time. And maybe because I don't sit up there I used to always ask for it a lot, but I've been really blessed. I've been able, as things have picked up a little bit, but we still need them, all right, to do what we do. You feel on your heart, you find value from what we're doing. Whatever that value is, the cash out right there. You can do that, and pretty much. But the group on Facebook is called C4, which is Conspiracy and Conscious Convergence Community. Okay, that's for racks. I saw you are taking. Yeah. So yeah, just go ahead and look for that. Yeah, and pretty much. And Pray 7. Let me give you an email address too. I'd love to call and verbally thank you personally, to know who you are behind this. And that is contact@WhyTheBigSecret.com. So that it. But yeah, everybody find our Facebook group, post in the group, put some stuff in it. We need to make it a active ecosystem. Share it with people. If you got people in Dallas area, because we do focus a little bit on there. But it's the conspiracy and conscious convergence community, right? Hopefully see some of y'all in there. Do your welcome and all those things. So we'll have a better place. And then for those of you who want to be volunteers, go to truthversusauthority.org. Those of you got a shirt or something that you want to buy, that .org will take you to our store. Hit the store tab, order something. Let's make some reciprocity. Allow me to give you something for helping us. But anyway, post in the chat. I love you all. Make sure so the other people to see this on a replay that it's all about love and the frequency of love. And I love each and every one of you. Truly, I love what I do too. And hopefully in time that you are more and more getting to remember who you are so that you can get off this planet. And another conversation. Yeah, we got to get you off this freaking and all of us. Okay. Go. But there are some of you, your job is to stay here, help too. So if we can get you to remember your job, that's going to work. Right. So make no mistake about it, that all works. Again, it's been a plum, pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege. I love y'all.
UFOs.
UAPs.
Unidentified anomalous phenomena.
Unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Who are they? Where are they from? And what is their intent?
All questions that immediately come to mind with the mention of UFOs. A Pentagon report is detailing a dramatic increase in UFO sightings, more than 350 since 2021. Many of them are explained as being drones, birds, or weather events, but about half of them remain unexplained.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
This video taken by the Navy showing what he describes as pyramid-shaped UFOs flying over the USS Russell off the San Diego coast in July of 2019. The Pentagon has since confirmed that the video is authentic.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection. Late this afternoon, a bulletin from New Mexico suggested that the widely publicized mystery of the flying saucers may soon be solved. Army Air Force officers reported that one of the strange discs had been found and inspected sometime last week. Our correspondents in Los Angeles and Chicago have been in contact with Army officials endeavoring to obtain all possible late information. Joe Wilson reports to us now from Chicago. The Army may be getting to the bottom of all this talk about the so-called flying saucers. As a matter of fact, the 509th Atomic Bomb Group headquarters at Roswell, New Mexico, reports that it has received one of the discs which landed on a ranch outside Roswell. The disc landed at a ranch at Corona, New Mexico, and the rancher turned it over to the Air Force. Rancher W.W. Brazil is the man who discovered the saucer.
There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
More people are coming forward with their own sightings.
Videos recorded by U.S. Navy personnel have added a new layer of evidence to the current national debate about UFOs.
Right at that moment, I saw what looked like 5 lights flying in formation in kind of an inverted check mark.
The NASA independent study team did not find any evidence that UAP have an extraterrestrial origin. We don't know what these UAP are.
The mysterious flying objects are still a mystery. NASA will continue investigating them and has appointed a director of UAP research.
Technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had.
Look at the fly!